Welcome to Vienna, the city full of royal history, imperial palaces, classical music, and iconic coffee houses. After watching The Empress on Netflix, I completely fell in love with the story of Empress Sisi, so I had to see Vienna for myself. In this vlog, we're exploring the magical Christmas markets, soaking up all the royal history, visiting famous cafes to experience the city's famous coffee culture before ending the trip with a New Year's Eve celebration in one of Europe's most elegant cities. After flying into Vienna, we finally made it to our hotel. This is the 25 Hours Hotel MuseumsQuartier, where we are staying for 3 nights. Click the link on the top right corner to watch the whole room tour. Here's a quick room tour. We booked a medium room where they can split the bed into 2 beds. Once you enter, on the right is the open closet with hangers, and below that is the minibar. And here are the twin beds with the very bright bedside lamps. Behind it stands a wall featuring circus-themed artwork reinforcing the hotel's overall theme. This is the 25-hour Elephant bespoke cuddly plush elephant design specifically for the 25 Hours Hotel, which you can purchase by the reception area. On the right of the bed is a long bench for storage. On top is a UE boom speaker you can use during your stay. Next to the window is a desk with a landline phone and a notepad with a pencil for your notes, and some much needed extension cords for all your gadgets. After quickly settling down, we ventured out to Rathausplatz, where the famous Christmas market is, with a lot of people buying mulled wine, food, and of course ice skating. Exploring the streets of Vienna to Café Central for our dinner booking, you'd notice a lot of horse-drawn carriages taking tourists around the area. Café Central is one of the iconic traditional Viennese coffee houses. A lot of tourists come here all day every day, so if I were you, just make a booking online when you're planning your trip. I made a booking weeks in advance to make sure that we get our spot. There's a massive queue of people trying to get a table outside. Café Central opened in the year 1876. Since the opening, Vienna's intellectuals, politicians, and all who were important have visited it. Right when you enter, you'd immediately see the soaring vaulted ceilings, held up by the elegant marble columns that stretch across the room. This is a place where, over a century ago, revolutionaries, writers, and future world leaders crossed paths in the heart of Vienna. Figures like Leon Trotsky once sat here. At the same time, others like Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler were in the city. And right in front is the dessert cabinet with a lot of different dessert options, from cakes to pastries. In the background, a pianist playing live classical music, adding to that old world imperial atmosphere. And for our dinner, we ordered one schnitzel, that is deep-fried veal cutlet with parsley potatoes that came with a slice of lemon and cranberry sauce on the side. And for me, I got a deep-fried chicken Café Central special with a slice of lemon and a cream cucumber potato salad. For dessert, we picked one each from the cabinet. I got this very yummy layered hazelnut dessert with milk chocolate. And John got the chocolate mousse with creme brulee. Walking back to the hotel, I noticed these very cute stoplights where a couple are holding hands. Last time I've seen something like this was in Amsterdam. The next morning is one of the only full days we have here in Vienna to explore. We start our day visiting St. Stephen's Cathedral. It is the symbol of Vienna and also the very center of the city. At 136 meters in height, it is the tallest church in Austria. The most important religious building in Vienna, St. Stephen's Cathedral is a witness to many important events in Habsburg and Austrian history, with its multicolored tile roof become one of the city's most recognizable symbols. Construction of St. Stephen's Cathedral began in the 12th century, and its interior changed repeatedly over the centuries until it was finally given its Baroque appearance. You can enter the main area for free, but you'd have to pay different fees to see the full interior, visit the catacombs, or even go up the towers. Next is a stop at the famous Demel for a late breakfast. Vienna's iconic Demel Cafe dates back to 1786 and was once the official pastry supplier to the Habsburg Imperial Court, famous for its elegant interiors and handmade desserts, especially the fluffy Kaiserschmarrn and rich chocolate cakes. It became a favorite of Empress Sisi. Today, Demel is one of the city's most historic coffee houses. Just be aware that there is a long queue to go inside and get a table, but there is also another queue to get Kaiserschmarrn on the go. Inside, there is a bar where you can order drinks. You'll also see the staff making the famous Kaiserschmarrn fresh right in front of you. Kaiserschmarrn is a lightly sweetened pancake that takes its name from the Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph I, who was fond of this fluffy shredded pancake. Once we got our table, we ordered some coffee and of course the original Kaiserschmarrn, which I was so excited for. Here you can also order Sachertorte or apple strudel if you prefer, or any of the other cakes and sweets in the cabinet. I ordered a cup of latte, and the Kaiserschmarrn came with a stewed plum sauce that was quite tangy to complement the sweet pancakes. Next, we visited the State Hall of Austrian National Library. Europe's largest Baroque library houses over 200,000 historic books on its richly decorated wooden shelves. The State Hall is one of the most beautiful library rooms in the world. Just be aware that the library can get very busy and crowded, but it is definitely worth seeing. The Austrian National Library is just one of the visitor attractions in Vienna's Imperial Palace. The impressive State Hall is 80 meters long and 30 meters high, and in the center is an amazing dome. The colorful fresco by court painter Daniel Grand shows the becoming god of Emperor Charles VI, who commissioned the construction of the library in 1723. Right in the center of the central oval directly down the dome is a marble statue of Emperor Charles VI. And the total of 128 historic bookshelves and cabinets, more than 200,000 works from the years 1501 to 1850 are arranged and exhibited. There are approximately 15,000 volume collections of Prince Eugene of Savoy, as well as one of the biggest collections of Reformation writings by Martin Luther. Unfortunately, these cannot be read here. The works are too fragile and precious for that. Next is the Schönbrunn Palace. To get here is pretty easy. You can take a train and walk from the train station to the main entrance. Schönbrunn was the main summer residence of the Habsburg rulers. The name Schönbrunn, meaning the beautiful spring, has its roots in the artesian well from which water was consumed by the court. The 1,441-room Baroque palace is one of the most important architectural, cultural, and historic monuments in the country. The history of the palace and its vast garden spans over 300 years, reflecting the changing tastes, interests, and aspirations of Habsburg monarchs. Here is one of the only Christmas markets left. When we got to Vienna, most of the main ones closed just after Christmas. Here you can buy all kinds of mulled wine, hot drinks. You can even buy souvenirs like crafts and Christmas decorations, and some local desserts like apple strudel. We actually wanted to do a tour around the palace itself, but unfortunately, it is booked out for the whole week, so I highly recommend booking tickets in advance. Next is one of the few things I highly recommend doing in Vienna is going to a classical music concert. For this specific one, I booked us a concert at Schönbrunn Palace, Orangery. There are also plenty other concerts all over Vienna. The concert features Mozart and Strauss music performed by the Palace Orchestra. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to take videos or photos during the performance. The next day is our very last day in Vienna and it's New Year's Eve. This morning we have a few more places to visit before the festivities start. Good morning guys, it's the last day of the year and we're off to Sisi Museum this morning. It's just before 9 o'clock and it's already quite busy actually, so we'll see. Our first stop is the Sisi Museum. I highly recommend booking this museum early because I saw a sign by the ticket booth that it is also booked out for a couple of weeks. Since 2004, the Sisi Museum has been housed in the Stefan Apartments, named after actor Stefan Victor. Here you'll see the story of her life, and there are about 300 objects on display in the museum, like her dresses, parasols, fans, and gloves, beauty preparations, her milk glass and its traveling case, her traveling medicine chest, and even the original death certificate. Here you can also see the Imperial Apartments. The Hofburg was the residence of the Habsburg for over 600 years. Most of these apartments today house a range of museums as well as offices, government ministries, and presidential chancellery. The Imperial Chancellery Wing and the Amalian residence, which contain the apartments of Franz Joseph and Elizabeth, are today open to the public. Here you can see the different rooms they used to have, from waiting rooms, audience chambers, dining room, conference room, study, bedroom, Sisi's dressing room and exercise room, and even their bathroom. Next is one of the most famous and historic coffee houses here in Vienna, Café Sacher. We got here and there was quite a queue. It wasn't too long, so we decided to wait. It was a very cold morning and the staff inside were quite nice. They're actually giving out cups of warm tea to keep everyone warm as we wait outside. Café Sacher is best known as the birthplace of the original Sachertorte, a dense chocolate cake with apricot jam that has become a national symbol of Austria. The interior offers a classic upscale Viennese coffee house experience featuring red damask walls, crystal chandeliers, and marble tables. Once we got to our table, we ordered, of course, the original Sachertorte. John ordered the apple strudel, and both with whipped cream on the side. Sachertorte is a dense, very rich chocolate sponge cake with a thin layer of apricot jam, with a smooth, covered in firm chocolate fondant icing, with the iconic chocolate stamp on top saying Original Sachertorte. Just across from the Hotel Sacher is the famous Big Red Bow. Just be aware that there's a lot of people here trying to take a photo of the famous bow. Close by is Laderach Swiss chocolate. Every time I go to a new country or a city that has these amazing chocolate, I always get some. They're quite expensive, but they're my favorite chocolate, 100% worth it. They have a variety of different chocolate blocks and flavors. Here you don't have to pay per piece. Instead, you tell the staff which flavors you'd want and they break off pieces for you and it is calculated by weight. Next is the Imperial Crypt. It is the final resting place of the Habsburg dynasty located beneath the Capuchin Church and Monastery in Vienna. The crypt is world-renowned for its elaborate metalwork. The sarcophagi range from simple designs to massive, highly decorative double sarcophagus of Empress Maria Theresa and her husband Francis Stefan. And of course, Emperor Franz Joseph I, Empress Sisi and their son, Prince Rudolf, are also buried here. We're back by St. Stephen's Cathedral, and close by is the Plague Column or Trinity Column. It is located on the Graben, a street in inner city of Vienna. It is built after the Great Plague epidemic in 1679. The Baroque Memoria is one of the best known and most prominent sculptural artworks in the city. In Vienna on New Year's Eve, they have this public celebration called Silvesterpfad, a giant open-air party that weaves through the historic city center. It starts from 2 p.m. and ends around 2 a.m. on New Year's Day. It's snowing! It's New Year's Eve. I am fully prepared. Walang tiis ganda today. We started walking to Rathausplatz. So we walked all around it to find that it was all closed off, so I assumed the celebrations start a lot later in the evening. We ended up going to the inner center. We walked past the Big Red Bow again. We walked through the streets, and for dinner we ended up getting these hot dogs. We ended up going with the flow and found a stage where there was a live band playing. Waiting for New Year, we decided to stay by St. Stephen's Cathedral, where there's a bigger stage, where there's a live band playing music and an alternate with classical music. Of course, there's no New Year celebration without a warm glass of mulled wine. Once the clock strikes midnight in Vienna, the city erupts into a very specific and charming set of tradition. The bells of St. Stephen's Cathedral chime, the massive bell in the North Tower rings out. It is one of the few times a year the bell is used, and its deep resonant tolling is the official signal that it is New Year. And as soon as the bells finish, the Blue Danube Waltz by Johann Strauss starts playing all over the city, and people start dancing in the streets of Vienna. The next day, we got up extra early to catch our train from Vienna to Ljubljana, which is about a 6 to 7 hour train ride. I hope this video has helped you in planning your trip to Vienna, whether it's for New Year or not. Vienna is an amazing city full of history and stories just waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.